Okay, Holly has given me the thumbs up and we're ready to roll. So welcome everybody here this afternoon to our special council meeting. I'll call the meeting to order at 1 o'clock. And I will start the public information meeting regarding the budget by asking Taylor to give a presentation on the budget as to where it is currently. Please,
Sure.
Taylor.
I'll just wait for Holly to bring it up. Thank you, members of the public, for joining us today. It's great to see your faces here. Okay. So, as everyone is well aware, this is the third round draft version of our budget. Table of contents, I noticed right before here that I missed a page, but I'll get to it at the end and adjust it after. So this is our timeline. Sorry, I'm sick and I have a low voice. I'm sorry. So this is our timeline that we had shared through every meeting so far. We've been through the 7th and 21st of February, and then today we sit at the public meeting, and then hopefully on the 20th we'll have budget adoption. Excuse me. Overall budget impacts, this is the same slide as last time. I just thought I'd leave it in here as it's good points overall. So 15% increase from 2023 on our insurance. And then the reasons for those are significant increases in property values. Auto fleet count has increased since 2023, and there's a trending and ongoing adjustment for claims that haven't been solved at this point. There has been significant amalgamation of the general ledger accounts that we've been working on compared to 2023. So a lot of items have been amalgamated under other departments and to other accounts. So if you're looking at a line by line of the budget compared to 2023, there could be some confusion there, and this is why. And then overall, the staffing, compensation, and benefits increases are outlined per the below section. And then I guess we can go questions again, slide by slide, if that works for everybody.
Okay. Are there any questions related to the last screen? Okay. Okay.
And then the deferred items remain the same as when we left the previous meeting. So 27,873 is not included in this budget for the dental plan orthodontics portion. Public Works, we have not included 400,000 for an additional tandem plow, 130 for road 24, sorry, 130,000 for road 24. And then there's also no major bridge or culvert replacements included in this budget. For recreation, we've deferred capital purchase of a tractor, which would have been funded through taxation and reserves. And then in finance, we've reduced the staff training from 2023.
Okay.
Sorry, this is really small. And then per the last meeting, we had talked about adding a slide for uncontrollable costs. So with the input of some council and the deputy mayor have gone through and updated this. And then just any input that anybody else had that thought that these might be uncontrollable items for the township. The biggest one being the policing contract, which has increased almost 40,000 from the previous year, and we expect that to continue to increase. Insurance has increased significantly. Our debt repayment has gone down, but it's still a significant cash flow item. The Conservation Authority has gone up as well. Utilities and energy are continuing to rise, and our financial audit costs have continued to rise. I also have a note in the top right corner about the non-residential increase to inflation. Since 2020 has increased almost 40%. So this is a major item to keep in mind, that this is kind of like what we are up against year over year, about 10% a year. So although these, even if you look below the revenue items, some of these revenue items through the grants like OSIF and CCBF are increasing, we essentially lose that money to inflation year over year. and then have lost money on the OMPF. So we have to come up with that funding elsewhere. And then these are the items that we have to have in the budget no matter what due to contracts. Okay. And then this is how essentially we got to where we're at today. So in the draft one, we start at 7.62. With the with a few changes to get us to the 6.45 at draft 2. And then based on our last meeting, we had included the clerk's training and conferences, added that back in, and then also fire wages and training to bring the rate back up to 7.6, and that's where we sit as of today. And then overall, this is what the yearly impact is looking like. So this is the increase, not just the overall cost for the taxpayer. So for the average home in Southgate, the increase would be $299.31 yearly. Monthly, that works out to just under $25, with that being the 7.6% increase.
Oh, Jason, sorry. Yep.
Well, just wondering that why we go by the assessment value is so low. Like I know that a lot of them are still assessed at that, but we all know that it's. So why did we use that?
That's the number that we get from MPAC.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so that's,
I have no other,
I don't know.
unless I
See-
talk to a
Well,
recruiter.
the increase wouldn't change.
No,
Even
I'm
if
just
your
saying,
assessment
no,
doubled, it's per
Per,
average,
Yeah.
right? So the average household in Southgate will see that increase.
Mhm.
It's an interesting number though, that it's that low.
Yeah.
For
But
sure.
that's just a function that they haven't reassessed in
No, I really.
5 years now, or almost 6. Monica?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. And just through you, Chair, are we talking about just this slide or can I
No.
ask a quick?
Well, no, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. So just through you to our treasurer, just to touch back on the insurance, just a question, did we get any additional quotes or was that the only one for the 37,000 increase?
I didn't think I was asked to do that.
Oh,
Tina?
Yes, thank you, your worship. I think we had discussed at the last meeting that through this budget process, there's no time to get an additional quote at this time, but that staff can take that back for a future RFP process, which takes a lot of time. And unfortunately, with the budget timeline and requiring per municipal act requirements, we wouldn't have time to do additional quotes.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Barb, go ahead.
Through you and to Jason's point about the assessed value, it would be up to the individual to look at their MPAC assessment
Mhm.
or their tax bill to show what the value of assessment for their particular home.
Right.
So if their home is valued at 500,000, it's going to be higher.
No.
Okay. And then, sorry, the slide just updated slightly based on our change from round 2 for the capital funding, just with some of that money going back into reserves that we decided based on the previous meeting, the 1%. Okay. And then from that, I've also updated the general reserve slide, which has us starting at 29,251,000 and ending at 25,303,000.
Okay.
And then the public works budget has not changed, with the exception from the previous draft of the funding source of the road. So if there's any further comments on public works capital, we can go through it, but.
Okay.
And then this is just the remainder, so nothing has changed from the previous draft in the capital budget for 2024 for the other departments.
Okay.
And then our debenture summary, so this didn't change from previous either, but to note that this also does not include any debt that we'd have to take on in 2024. So right now it looks like we're well within our annual repayment limit. So we're in a healthy spot to be taking on the debt that we require in this budget.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you, Taylor, very much. Any questions from council? Barb?
Just one, I wanted to back up to the uncontrollable costs. Thank you very much, with regard to carbon tax and the fact that the municipality, that's okay, the municipality does not get a rebate such that residential homes do, more or less. We're not sure at what value that is, but that is set to increase April 1st again. And if we've already in 2023, you said it was over $55,000,
Yeah, I actually recalculated that and it's well over 60.
well over 60,000.
Yeah.
Right. And that's on our heating and our fuel for our fleet.
Right.
So that is a cost that's borne by all over. And then if we RFP out tenders, they're adding in their carbon tax into their bills. Things are more and more and more expensive.
Yeah.
Because of the carbon tax. And I'm not sure what it's going up April 1st, but I heard there was going to be another significant bump.
I think I
Is it
believe it's 3 cents per liter.
right?
I
So, we factor that in. That is an uncontrollable cost.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I had
That's-
notes
no,
on that
that's-
that I meant to
That's okay.
I meant to address, but yes.
You did that so that I could ask a question.
Yeah, I just to Barb's point as well, that right now it is at around 60,000 and that would be a very conservative number, I would say. Because like she said, that doesn't include any trickle down from our suppliers through their freight to us, through any sort of cost that they want to transfer on to us that they're hiding within their prices, which that's up to them. But I would expect that the carbon impact would have around $100,000 on the 2024 budget.
Significant nonetheless.
Yeah.
Any other questions from council on the presentation? Okay. All right, well, we'll move on to the open forum, discussions, questions. It is a public meeting, this portion. So I think there are a couple of people signed up to make some comments or ask some questions. Who's first, Madam Clerk? Heather? Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Milne and Deputy Mayor Dobreen and all council and all staff. And here I am again. I don't come to these very often, but it always seems that when I come, I'm the only speaker.
Well, you bring backup, so maybe he could speak next time, or as well. Nonetheless, welcome.
Thank you. So good afternoon, and thank you for having the open forum in regards to the budget. And I'm speaking today on behalf of both myself and Tom. So during the last municipal elections, two major concerns we had were roads and transparency. Prior to this meeting, Tom and I had reached out to council and staff questioning how road work and the type of work was prioritized every year. We're here to say thank you to Jim Ellis and the support of other staff and council members. Every question we had was answered with honest and transparent information. We were so grateful to get that information. It takes a lot of relief to know that the meeting changed for us to thank you instead of asking a whole lot of questions. We might not always like the answers, but we do support the tough decisions that have to be made. We did question the money being spent on the work being done on one road in particular and why it was being done now when other roads that are in very close vicinity were in more disrepair and needing attention. but we now recognize and acknowledge the township had to take advantage of an opportunity. There is a benefit to the particular business who provided the opportunity. However, over the long term, the township's decision will save taxpayers dollars in the long term. That is huge to us. So we receive information to allow us to understand decision-making. And as I said, not always do we agree with it, but we do respect the decisions and the justifications. This makes for better open communication. And this leads to the proposed budget. The increase is significant and will be concerning for all taxpayers. None of us like to pay more if we don't have to. But reading the news, Southgate is not unique in this regard this year. So we support this increase. If we don't do it today and just delay the increase, then future increases will only be that much worse. We can't keep delaying the inevitable. We believe part of this increase is the result of previous years' low increases and put-offs that have contributed to it. We need to plan now and be proactive. On a lighter note, and I did see it in the presentation, so I didn't catch it when I was reviewing this before I came. We see funding is for signs on roads. And that is probably something that we were asking for in the budget, that perhaps we could find some money for it, because there are some roads that don't have any signage. We live on one. The corner to continue east, there is no sign to say that the road continues east. So everybody, delivery trucks, come to the corner off of Old Railway Road and turn south, thinking, because that's the only sign for Southgate 26. So those are that's just one example. So hopefully we can spend a little bit of money on those signs, and you know, we're by all means, you can reach out to us and we can give you the examples of where things need to be. But I have to tell you, with everything that I read in the news and reading from the county level, reading other municipalities, I had to fix into our budget near the end of the year. I was counting on a 10% increase for this township
Done.
in our taxes. Not that I wanted it, but I wanted to be prepared for it. So 7.6%, and seeing the work that's gone into this, you know what, as I said, no one likes it, but we have to do it. So I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of both Tom and myself.
Well, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Heather. Your sentiments are well received, and indeed, the
you.
council did, and the staff as well, put a tremendous amount of effort and time into this. And you're right, we can't continue to kick the can down the road. We've got to deal with this. So, anyone else, sir? You're good? All right. Tom, you're good? Yeah, smart man. Very good. Council, any further questions, discussion? All right, thank you very much. So I'll adjourn the public information meeting portion of today's meeting, and we'll go to confirmation of the agenda for today's special meeting. Monica.
Thank you, Mayor. And again, good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to, in light of recent discussions surrounding my proposed motion for council member health benefits, topic marked by evolving viewpoints, including a significant shift from a fellow council member, I realize the complexity of this issue extends beyond our initial scope. It's clear a more detailed review is necessary, particularly to consider broader implications, such as part-time employees, which we already had answered in the first meeting. So thank you for that. So given the intricacies involved and the paramount importance of making decisions grounded in comprehensive analysis and equity, I've decided to withdraw the motion temporarily. This pause will allow us to gather more information and approach this matter with the thoroughness it deserves. Furthermore, recent interactions have underscored the importance of maintaining mutual respect and professionalism. Even in the face of disagreement, as leaders within our community, it's essential that our discussions, even those marked by differing opinions, are conducted with the highest regard for civility, This is not just about respect we owe to each other, but also about the example we set in our community. So I look forward to revisiting this topic in the future, equipped with a more fuller understanding and in an atmosphere of respectful dialogue. Thank you for understanding and cooperation.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
So you're moving the agenda as amended?
Yes.
Okay, is there a seconder? Jim, thank you. Discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest related to any item on today's agenda? Not seeing any. If one should arise, you're welcome to declare it at that time. Now we need a motion to resolve in the committee of the whole, be it resolved that council recess the special meeting at 1:20 and move into committee of the whole meeting for fuller discussion. Jim? And who would like to second that? Monica, thank you. All those in favor? That is carried. Now I need to appoint a chair. Someone care to make a motion? Jim? I'll take it then that your motion is that I chair the, yeah, okay. Is there a seconder? Monica, thank you. Any discussion? Any further nominations? All those in favor? That is carried. So be it. Reports of municipal officers. Now we're back to our faithful and good treasurer, Taylor McMahon, in spite of a cold. So we don't want to make her talk too much today. So make your questions to the point if you have any. So the motion is there to bring forward a bylaw, correct? No,
Today, no,
no, well, not today, but
no,
the motion today is somebody
I see.
directing staff to bring the bylaw forward, I think is the essence of the motion. So if someone would care to move that. Martin, seconded by Barb. Thank you. Taylor.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for my first round or I guess my first overall round draft at the budget. It's been a really interesting year for myself and for the township. I know Ms. Arnott had said that it's a significant increase to taxpayers, and I don't see that as not being true. I see that this is a fair increase based on where we are financially, and I think that we all agree that this kind of has to happen. But I just wanted to say thank you, and I hope that you're happy with how everything has gone.
Well, I can just say from the chair, I'm very happy and thank you, Taylor, for your efforts. I know it hasn't
Thank
been
you.
easy, but you've done a tremendous job, I have to
Thank
say.
you.
Given some of the staff you have to work with, not mentioning any names. But nonetheless, all kidding aside, thank you, Cash, and indeed all the rest of the finance and all the staff. Thank you so much for all your efforts to put this budget together. It hasn't been easy, that's for sure. And we're not there yet, but we're getting pretty close. So any questions or discussion regarding that motion, directing staff to bring the bylaw forward, reflecting what we've got to in terms of numbers? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thanks again, Taylor. So now we resolve back to council, back to the special meeting at 1:23. Someone move that motion, please. Jason, thank you. Second. Barb, thank you, Joan. You'll second that. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. So we have the motion resulting from the committee meeting, which we just adjourned from, which says the same thing, I think, pretty much as where we were before. Barb is going to move that budget or that motion. Thank you. Is there a seconder? Martin, thank you. Question, Barb.
I meant to ask this in committee of the whole. Proceed with all necessary administrative actions. When that bylaw is being produced, does it get advertised in the paper or? Because I know that there was an advertisement about the budget. I just wondered what administrative actions. Is it just bringing forward the bylaw?
Yeah, like we would just bring forward the bylaw. There wouldn't be a separate advertisement for that. I think the way the motion was wrote was that if council wanted to make any more changes during committee of the whole to the budget, that's why it was kind of wrote that way, but we can leave it because I mean, I think Taylor's pretty clear she's gonna bring the bylaw forward, so we don't need to make amendments, but that's why it was wrote that way.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Lindsay. Any further questions, discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Confirming bylaw. Joan, you want to move that? Thank you. Is there a seconder? Jim? All those in favor? That is carried. One final motion. Monica and Barb, all those in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, folks, for attending.